Assalamualaikum. First of all, I would like to say thank you, Mr. Amir, for your time accepting our invitation for the interview today. My name is Muhammad Haziq. With my two friends is Muhammad Afiq and Muhammad Lukman. Today, we have a few questions about engineering ethics for you to be answered as an engineer. Before we start, can you introduce yourself, your background, position, and your journey as engineer?
Oh, okay. Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Muazik. Thank you everyone for inviting me. My name is Amir Haris bin Amran. I am a graduate engineer. I registered as graduate engineer with BM. I graduated from University Technology Malaysia UTM Johor, and after I graduate, I continue my study for masters, and after that, I started working as an engineer at a consultant firm, and after that another consultant firm, and now I am working as an inspector of work at site. So yeah, that's my
You
journey.
may start your question.
I will start my question now.
Mm.
My name is Muhammad Oman.
Yes.
Okay, do you know about the BM's engineering ethics guidelines? How did you learn about engineering ethics and from where?
So initially I learned about engineering ethics in matriculation, and after that I also learned it in my university studies. As when I started working, I also dabble in the engineering ethics that is stated in the BM website. So I cannot recall all of the ethics, but I know a few best that is concerning of my work, my work area lah. Yeah. So I cannot say that I know fully about the ethics, but I basically just know I know just basics of it lah. Yeah.
Okay, we go for the last question from me. Uh, Mind elaborating on the most difficult aspect of becoming an engineer in Malaysia?
So I don't think Malaysia in general lah. So this is based on my experience as being an engineer in Malaysia. So I think the most challenging aspect of becoming engineer is fulfilling that engineer role, because when we study, right, we study in engineering, we study about designing, we study about the technical aspects of our work. But when we become engineer, we also need to do a bunch of coordinating work. We need to do yes, time managing, multitasking. That is what will be expected of an engineer. They will expect engineer to be competent in this soft skills. So even if a graduate engineer is very clever in designing and such thing, but if they cannot time manage, they cannot uh, coordinate well with their teammates, with other subcontractors, with the contractor, with the client, or with other consultant, it will be very hard to fulfill the role lah, because there is more to be an engineer than just designing work. Uh, because if normally in a consulting firm, an engineer will need to control, or not control. The engineer will need to manage a few projects, not just one. So in my previous consulting firm, I need to manage around 6 projects. That is just a graduate engineer. But if a senior engineer need to manage around 10 to 15 projects. So yeah, they will need to undergo meeting every day, and the next day go to site walk, and then designing. So if the micromanaging is very weak, it will be very hard lah. Yes.
Okay, that's all from me. I will pass back to Haziq.
Yafiq, you may start your question.
Okay, I have a few questions. Uh, Firstly, have you ever agreed to a contract or received compensation from outside agent, and why?
Actually, I haven't lah, because that is considered, that is considered wrong in the work ethics lah. Because as an right now, as an engineer, or as an inspector work, or any working position, you can only receive compensation from your employer, right? So if you receive compensation from other parties, such as the contractor or the subcontractor, it can lead to many problems lah, because it can also be considered bribery, and can be taken to court. So no lah, I cannot receive such thing.
Okay, my next question is, do you possess any experience as an engineer in a critical situation, such as the material does not meet the specification? How do you approach a scenario requiring a decision making?
So yes, I have undergo such situation when the material the material that is required for the construction does not meet the specification that is stated in the contract document. So in this critical situation, it's best for engineer to ask for opinion from senior engineer, or from professional engineer, because things like this cannot be avoided, because sometimes the client want to save cost, or the design that has been done is different, cannot be implemented in the construction site. So as uh, a young engineer that has no really on-site or no critical decision making experience, it's best to ask for the senior engineer uh, decision, because we cannot just make decision willy-nilly, without because the consequences will be devastating for the project.
Okay. I will pass to Haziq.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amir. I think that's all from us. We wish you good luck in your career.
Yes, you too. I wish all of you to good luck, and thank you for inviting me. Good luck in your studies and your future endeavors.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, Mr. Syahid. First of all, I would like to say thank you to joining us for our this interview sessions. We are students from Mechanical Engineering Technologies at UTM, University Technical Machine Maker. Today's interview is about engineering ethics. But first of all, can you introduce yourself, your education, your position, your works?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much to Haziq, Lokman, and Afiq for this short discussion or maybe interview. Basically, I have graduated from University Technology of Mara in chemical engineering with majoring in process. At the moment, I've been working, actually, since I've started my first career, I've been working with MMC group of company under a company by the name of Aliran Ehsan Resources Berhad. So Aliran Ehsan Resources Berhad is majoring in water related business. So we do anything related to water. So we do water treatment plant, we do sewerage treatment plant, as well as pipes and water related works. So I have started with project engineer at Alira Ehsan, and then uh, I've been shifted to operations engineer, and at the moment I am holding a positions of assistant manager in business development.
Okay. Next is my second question is: did you ever had to endorse a document or certification while holding the role you currently hold?
Okay, there is a yes and no. Um, for okay, like I said before, I have been through several stages in engineering. I've started my career in 2017 as a project engineer, and then as time goes by, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2020, I have also experience as an operation engineer. So as a project engineer, I cannot sign any drawings because at the moment I am a graduate engineer. Let's say I have a design or maybe a drawings, I can only be the checker, because draftmen will draft the designs, but obviously we need a competent person to endorse the drawings because it come with a professional indemnity and whatnot. So that insurance of professional indemnity, it needs a professional engineer to endorse drawings, but my liability is up to the checking. But yes, uh, in a operation side, because in operation side is more on data reliabilities. So we secure data, the operators will get the data. So as an operation engineer, I have to endorse the drawing. So that drawing is just endorsements of data integrity.
Oh, thank you. My third question is: registering as a graduate engineer, are you? Do you understand the step required to become a professional engineer?
Okay, the first answer is yes. I have registered as a, graduate engineer back in 2018. Uh, so I actually did some error. So where I took longer time to register. So I slightly missed the boats lah. About 1 year lapse. All right. A second questions. You're asking about the processes. The processes to be a professional engineer. I think as you all know that the professional engineer, there's a two-step in professional engineer. One is we call it PE, professional engineer. One is PEPC, professional engineer with practicing certificates. So the basic overview of the processes is first you need, obviously you need to register as a BEM member, a BEM graduate engineer, BEM or IEM lah. Because at the moment we have a few routes, right? So I just wrap it up as a overview. So you need 3 years after being a graduate engineer, then you need to submit reports for your experience and also design. But now BEM do have different method by just experience, started in 1st January 2023. And then after your report is vet through and approved, they will have interview sessions, and then after the interview session you have to sit for the uh, exam. One, the exam will be on your technical knowledge. Second will be on the ethics as engineer. So that's the whole process.
Okay. I now pass on to Lukman.
Okay. We go to the next question. If you have been intimidated by certain organization,
You mean intermediate is being uh, being uh, uh, being accused by the company?
yeah.
Okay. Personally, I never been that.
Oh,
I never been into that situations.
okay. Never mind. We go to the last question. Have you had any communications issue with your team members or your superior? How did you respond to the circumstance?
Obviously, in engineering, there always a dispute because everyone will have a different thought. Everyone will have a super idea. So in the end of the day, we back to the core of the engineering basics. Uh, we back to the basics of the philosophy. So sometimes I may be wrong, sometimes my friends might be wrong. So in the end of the day, we come back as solid teams. So because I am from chemical background, for me to give you an engineering example might be not suiting your industry. But what I can
Yes,
say is, basically, when we have one project or one issue, all the engineers will come up with ideas. So one engineer come up with one engineer come up with ideas. The rest uh, will try to deny your idea in a very intellectual way. It's not like cursing or oppressing, but in the end of the day, everyone wants the best for the whatever they are working on. So to answer you in a short and precise, yes, we have, but we come back to the technicals, the crux of the or the philosophy of the engineering backgrounds. Uh, I think you are muted, Lokman.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. That's all for me. I will pass to Haziq.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Syed, for your your explanation about the engineering ethics and your experience. Thank you very much. I think that's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bro.
Thank you.
But